morning, I'm of course fixing myself, sitting outside in my nightgown, enjoying the morning and drinking coffee and stuff, and sitting here just looking at everything that is just kind of going on in the world. There's a saw going in the garage. And I was sitting here and I was trying to decide, shouldn't I share some of the morning stuff that's happened. In my house, it's always interesting. I always go, maybe I should start a vlog series that is just like, morning conversations in Kendal's house or something. I don't know. I have to have a catchier name than that for sure. But some of the things that get shared in the morning hours around my house, we bounce all over the place, and it's some random stuff. But this morning at 6 a.m., my 7-year-old son, he comes and he climbs into bed with me, and he snuggles up, and he's just like, his name's Gabe, my 7-year-old Gabriel. He comes and he climbs into bed with me, he snuggles up, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll have my morning coffee and I'll listen to my morning meditation and stuff while he's snuggling. And he says to me, he says, "Mom, I saw a ghost." And my lover, he's like, "Oh, really? What did the ghost look like?" And he goes, "Oh, it was a woman." And then he points at me and he's like, "But not with long hair like Mommy, with hair like right here." And we're like, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I looked out the bedroom window." Because his bedroom's right above our window. And he's like, "I looked at the bedroom window and it was standing by Jules's car. This woman was standing by Jules's car." And now, so my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, she has my lover's deceased mom's car, and it is parked right in front of the house. Right in front of his bedroom window. So looking down, that's what you see. You see the car. So he's like, and he doesn't know, whose car that is. He doesn't know about my lover's deceased mom. He never met her, nothing. So he goes on, he's like, "Yeah, this woman, she's standing by Jules's car, and she was waving at me, and she was going 1, 2, 3. And so Steve's just like, chills and everything. He looks at me and I'm like, "Oh, I think that was your mom. I think your mom wants you to know that she's here." And so then we showed him a picture of Steve's mom, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the woman that was standing by the car." So funny thing, right? That's Jules's car. It was her car, and he's describing, describing her to us and telling us this message of that she's saying hello and going 1, 2, 3. So there's the morning ghost story. Interesting. But so for people who believe in ghosts, that's my morning ghost story for you. For people who believe that it's all bullshit, well, there's still my morning ghost story for you. It just is what it is, right? Or is not. I don't really care how anybody perceives that. I think that's just a sweet little moment. And I do believe that our deceased loved ones, kind of hang out and try to get messages through. So it is just one of those things. So, hey, morning, Addison, back from Mexico. So, hey, she's alive. She made it into the country. She was my guinea pig if I could go out of the country or not. And she was in Mexico for 5 days. So jelly over that. Anybody who wants to see her beautiful location over the last 5 days, go check her stuff out. Morning, Kevin. So on to the serious topic. Not that ghosts and messages being passed from the other side is not a serious topic, but that's not my life calling necessarily, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I get into the spiritual stuff. Yesterday was definitely a spiritual day. Had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and spirit was definitely moving through me. Got into somebody's face yesterday that, not literally in their face, I should probably watch my words in today's crazy times, but somebody that I had never met before came in for a gifted session that their friend had gifted to them with me. And we had a very spiritual moment, some good spiritual passing going through. Beautiful, beautiful session. But this morning I was sitting around and thinking about, topics and everything. And the topic that was kind of bubbling up in me last night after my client appointments was what I'm sharing today. And this is something that that he may be guilty of. I believe that we all are guilty of this at points in our life. Some people live lifetimes being guilty of this. Some people wake the fuck up and are no longer guilty of it, and they actually, step down the path and take control of their life, and stop being that disservice to our world, right? So I can't remember exactly how I titled this, but you may be guilty of this disservice. Are you doing it? And here's what it is. Yesterday, over the course of a few different conversations, what was really coming up to me was that we want to shut our light down. We shut our under ourselves. Told one person that he was like a wrapped up leftover in his energy, and he looked at me, he goes, but I stand strong and I'm blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm not talking about your physical body right now. It's not gotten to your physical body level, but where you are at energetically, how you present yourself, and the energy that is coming from you, your confidence, your truth in who you are, standing firm in your core, has you kind of like crunched up like this. This is what I feel coming from you, is that like I'm shrinking myself. I'm really crunched down. I have my energy wrapped up so tight because I'm actually scared of my energy. So, are you guilty of doing that? That's what it comes down to. Are you guilty of crunching down your energy and not truly being who you are? Now, how can that be a disservice to the world? What difference does it make if you are who you are, or if I am who I am, if how confident I am in myself, how confident you are, how, how centered we are, how much standing in our truth, how authentic we are to ourselves. Why does that make a difference to the world? Well, here's why. Because when we're not strong in ourselves, when we're not confident in ourselves, when we're not aligned, to who we are and walking our mission path, right? Then what we're doing is we're a disservice, because by us not walking our path, we are now preventing opportunity for other people who would come in contact with us to experience us authentically, so that we could make those ripple effects out in the world. What we end up doing when we're like crunched down is we start to create negative ripple effects instead of positive ripple effects. Okay? So as we're crunched down, so people are meeting a weakened state of us instead of a strong state of us. We are looking at the world, at our life, through our wound instead of through our positive heart center, through our soul alignment. So there's two drastically different things. So our reactions to things are going to be different. The way we think about things, the way we feel about things, our engagement with people, with the life, with the world, is all going to be different, whether we are coming at it from our wound state or from our soul-centered state. Okay? So that's why we're doing a disservice if we're not in alignment to ourselves, if we are not actually walking our path in confidence, and we're not standing strong energetically in who we are authentically. And, I see this over and over again. I had a couple different appointments yesterday, and I ended up telling people just this very thing, you need to get right with yourself, and you need to start letting your light out, because the world needs you. And that's what that statement really truly means, is the world needs you, because if you're not letting your light out, you're doing a disservice to the world. You're adding to the darkness. You're not being all that you can be in who you really truly are. So if you're letting fear hinder you, then that is going to suppress your energy. That's going to suppress your love. That's going to suppress your ability to make rational decisions, to be able to really see what is going on in life. Your perception is going to be altered because you're not standing firm in who you are. You're not in alignment with yourself. And a lot of people go, oh, I'm strong in, but then you see them casting out so much hatred and jealousy and, vulgarness in different ways, and just so critical and controlling and fear-based on everything. And it's like, well, if you were in alignment to who you really are, if you were really truly in love with yourself, in your soul alignment, you would feel so fucking good. And yeah, bad stuff is going on around us. There's different stuff that's, not comfortable, that we're not in agreement to, and all that. But your perception of it and your ability to handle it and your reactions to it are going to be different if you're coming at it from this place versus this, that's caught up. if you're not feeling in love with your life, if you're not feeling in love with your body, if you're not feeling in love with your relationships, if you're not totally in alignment, then it's going to feel rocky in your system. It's going to feel out of place in your system. It's just not going to, you're not going to feel your ultimate best. So if you're feeling phenomenal, and it's like, so I do a psychic reading like twice a year, and I have a woman I've been using for a couple years, and I did a psychic reading a couple weeks ago, I guess now. And when I got on the phone with her, she's like, "So what's going on?" Da 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 da. And she's like, "Why are we talking today?" And I said, "In truth, my life is so amazing. Like, I feel so blessed. I don't have anything that I'm worried about. I don't have anything. I mean, like, I know that there's all this stuff going on in the world, but my life is just blossoming. Everything's going so great. Like, I have all these beautiful relationships, and I have these motivated clients and beautiful relationships with them, and I'm loving on my body again, and and my abundance factor is just growing, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm still living. I'm thriving. I feel so in alignment." I was like, I guess I'm here just to find out what soul message is and to kind of tap in, and more likely I am I'm the vessel that gets the messages for other people, which is what my reading ended up being, was messages to all my kids, and not really anything about me, which is my kids are my world, right? So I got all these messages from my grown babies and different people in my world. And I share that because it's like, that right there, it's what she told me. She's like, "Well, yeah, as I look at at what's coming into me," she's like, "Well, this is why you're feeling that way, because you're so in alignment right now." And it's true. I feel like I got the Midas touch going on. Everything's just good. It feels good. And you know what? I feel good. I have lots of energy. There's lots of movement in my life, but I'm really moving with that energy really well. It's not stressing me out in any fashion. I feel good in my day-to-day world with every step, really feeling good about it. Even though there's some negative stuff, perceived negative stuff that comes at me, I go, okay, there, I'm going to take that as that, and that tells me to go this direction, not that direction, because that's negative. So that doesn't feel good over there. So I'm not going that way. And it's just very easy for me to shift gears and go into this that does feel good. And you hear what I just said there? Because it's like we get caught in those negatives, and we're and then say today, what did MSM say today, all that kind of stuff, and we go down this negative spiral, and then we go, well, why am I feeling so negative? Well, it's because we're running down a negative path. We're choosing to literally run down it, and then it causes us to get out of alignment within ourselves, and we think that we have to live in that negativity, versus just going, okay, I see that, and obviously that doesn't feel good, so that's obviously not the direction for me to go. Obviously not. The direction for me to go is over here. But we have that trouble, right, to shift to the positive, because we feel like we should be paying attention to the negative. But what we need to do is pay attention to the positive. So if you really want that true soul alignment, and you want to be able to, really step into who you are and be sending out those positive ripples into the world, then it is your duty, to, instead of looking at the negative, to look at the positive. Don't completely disregard the negative. That I'm unaware of what's going on in the world, right? I read here and there, I spot read different things, I pay attention to different things, I'm conscious of all that stuff. I'm just choosing not to let my energy, my emotions and thinking get wrapped up in it to the degree that it sets me so off kilter inside myself that I am now spewing out negative stuff instead of practicing exactly what I believe, which is that we're all worthy, that we all have this beautiful power, that we are able to connect with our fellow human beings, that community is important, that we are love-centered beings, that we are energy-based beings, that we live in a world of attraction, right? So if I start stumble attraction based my core in those statements. If I start telling you, oh no, you should be shameful of this, and you should be shameful of that, and you should be shameful, and oh my God, you're a bad person, and I go down this whole negative spiral and get into these nasty battles and going, well, you know what, you're a bad citizen for blah, blah, blah. That would be against who I really am. That doesn't feel good to me. I want to build people up, not tear people down. Right? not tear myself. That's a tough one right there. We do a lot of tearing down of ourselves, thus we tear down every us. And when we see somebody that's building up, we want to tear them down because we've been tearing ourselves down. So here's how we get. We start to build ourselves up, not tear ourselves down, and not tear other people down to try to make ourselves feel better, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make us feel better. It doesn't. It makes us feel tense. It makes us feel tight. It makes us feel negative. It keeps us focused down that negative spiral. So my message to you today is really, truly to check your thinking, check your feeling, check where you're pointed at, because you are that pointer in your world. And where you choose to point yourself is what you're going to actually receive to come back in. I was talking to my lover about different things, and I tease him about like other men and playful things on sex and on dating. And then I was talking to my ex-husband yesterday about money and relationships and all that kind of stuff. And I looked at him, and he was talking to me about he's doing all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I'm working hard. Job on working hard and making it hard on yourself. And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to bring in the money, I was like, yeah, I will. So, but I just was, messages, I just did this, I just did that. And I'm like, here I am. I'm meeting with people, doing this and I'm doing that. And he's just like, yeah, I've been watching you. I don't know exactly how you do this. Because I don't make it hard on myself. I'm not making it hard. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the flow. I'm not working hard. I'm not focused on the negative. I'm not focused to a grind. I'm not turning it into a struggle. I'm doing what feels good. I'm consistently being vulnerable, consistently sharing. I'm consistently connecting. And the way I go about life, then they're not my tribe, right? Thank you for letting me know on the front side, right? So it's just like, boom, and keep going, instead of doing the grind. When we get in that grind, we get out of our soul alignment. We are flow-based people. Into your flow, the more it flows for you, and it's just like out there. You can spiral it, you can get it out there. You're going to spiral positive or negative. Again, it is where are you pointed? What are you choosing to do, right? What direction are you pointing yourself? Because that's the direction that you're going to attract things from. Okay, so it really is important. Where are you pointed? What are you doing? Is it the negative? Is it the positive? Are you getting caught in a grind, in just this like negative, I gotta do it? Do you think that life needs to be hard? Or can you say, this is easy, and it just is? Because it can just be that easy. You can just kind of move through things very, very easily. And I know that a lot of people don't believe me when I say that. Kendal, that's not the way it is, but it is. It is. And you don't have to believe me. Yes, you know what? You're stuck in wherever you're stuck, and that's for you and not for me. And I'm going to continue to go on this direction, and other people that understand how easy it can be are going to continue to go on that direction. And then there's all these other people out there that are going to go, no, life must be hard. I must suffer. I must pay the price. I must really get in there and crank it out. I have to grind. I have to do this. I have to do that. Must. And oh, did you see this horror of the world and this horror of the world and this wrongdoing and this wrongdoing? Instead of going, oh wow, look at the beautiful sunrise and the beautiful sunset and the pretty butterfly. And oh, look at the sweetness on my child's face. And man, I feel loved today. And oh, so-and-so's got my back. And oh my gosh, I just met this amazing person. I wonder where it could go. Different energies there, completely different energies there. What are you focused on? Where are you pointing? And realizing that when you get out of alignment with yourself, it feels like shit. Number one, completely feels like shit. And number two, that you're creating by you not being in alignment to you, that's good, right? Then your ripple into this world is going to be more negative based. Okay, you're not going to be able to touch other people the way that you probably believe that the majority aim to connect with people in a negative sense. We do connect from our wounds, and that can be good and that can be bad, It all depends on where you're at in your healing process and your awakening process. But I don't believe that the majority of people go into the world really truly wanting to harm another or to be a negative impact, and to be a positive impact in some fashion or form. The impact that we can be is by setting the example, to be right in ourselves and to be in alignment. And the more in alignment we are with ourselves, then the more able to give a positive ripple into the world. Because when people look at us and they go, hey, wow, look at what she is doing, look at how their life is going, I want me some of that. How do I get that? Instead of, oh God, that person over there, God, this person makes me feel right? Because if we make people constrict, if we make people just not want to be, that means that we've got a negative ripple going. Okay? Or if we find out that we have a lot of drama coming to us, a lot of negative commentary coming to us, and it's just really eating away, and it's really, like causing our skin to just go, ugh, like that. And we're like, why am I getting so much negative feedback? Why? It's because you got all the negative feedback going in here, and you're out of alignment with who you are, your truth. Okay? People view that, and that's what is going on. They get that viewing. So are you sending negative or positive in that viewing? They're getting that negative viewing. That's more negative alignment going out there with things that you don't want, versus being in alignment to yourself where it feels good. Okay, so I cannot stress how much importance there is on standing in your truth, knowing who you are, getting right with your shadows, getting right with your light, allowing yourself to feel the whole spectrum of emotion, standing in wherever you're at in any given moment, being vulnerable in those moments, speaking your truth, and asking yourself before you put those words out, is this coming from ego? And that is really truly what I want your message today to be, to ask yourself, is this coming from a place of love or a place of ego? And asking yourself, what am I setting out into the world? Because that is the ripple. That is the ripple that you're really truly doing or not doing. So you get to point. You get to point in the direction to be in. All right, on that note, now that my ninja is back in town, let me see. We have so many different events going on. Honest, I don't know the dates of all of them. So for all of you local people who are here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or want to make the trek across the Texas border to Dallas, we are keeping all events a lot smaller due to COVID. So we have COVID safety procedures in place and everything on that. But we do have some beautiful going in July and August. We've got events for men. We've got our summer orgasm camp coming up. We've got our oral intimacies class coming up. I'm doing a sex magic class. I've got another run of the quantum tantric integration class coming up, and some of those are limited to 10-15 people. Some of those are limited to 5 people. So just so that you know, on that, can be found on my the comments section for the events page. Make sure that you don't wait, because we are limiting seats more than what we normally do. Those classes that normally get 50 or 60 people are now down to 20. Okay, so realize that these classes sell out every single year. They've been selling out for anywhere from 5 to 10 years depending on the class. So make sure that if you from this year and not wait another 12 months to see the workshop, well, then realize that you need, when it's full, down and keeping it that way. So and it's not coming back around. Okay. Let me see. So yeah, so get your butt on there, local peeps. Go sign up, get your tickets for the stuff that you are wanting to get your tickets for. Other than that, if you have any questions, comments in the comment section, hit the share button. Get this message out. It's all go out there and get more in alignment to our abundant, thriving lives by really truly knowing who we are, loving who we are, and stepping forward in that energy. Know that you are worthy, know that you are full of love, that you are a heart-centered being, and that you can claim the life that you want by. Okay, guys, I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee. I love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And remember, stop existing, start living.